Hey, road. Snakes. Why did it happen with snakes?
I'm Spartacus!
I'm Batman. I am the Father.
You know, when you follow film franchises, the journey is, well, it's rarely a straight line, is it?
Not at all.
You get these incredible highs, these moments everyone remembers, and then sometimes you hit rock bottom spectacularly.
Yeah.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into one specific film that a pretty authoritative critique claims is basically the absolute low point for a massive sci-fi universe.
We're talking AVPR. Aliens vs. Predator Requiem from 2007.
Exactly. And it's fascinating because the whole idea of a crossover originally, people were incredibly excited.
Oh, absolutely. It came from those Dark Horse comics, which were brilliant, frankly. It seemed like the perfect matchup. You know,
The ultimate hunter versus the deadliest creature.
Predator versus Xenomorph. I mean, the drama, the action, it felt built in. People saw it as this perfect combination.
And the bar was set so high, wasn't it? After Aliens, the first Predator, classic films.
Huge expectations,
Mm-hmm.
which makes the failure or perceived failure even more stark.
So we're focusing on this really scathing review by John McArthur. He didn't mince words.
No, he didn't. And our mission today isn't just to, list all the complaints.
Right.
We want to dig into why he called it, and I quote, a turd of a movie. What specifically went wrong, according to him?
And maybe more importantly, what did hitting that low point actually mean for the Alien and Predator franchises moving forward?
Because sometimes, hitting bottom is what forces you to look up. It could be a catalyst.
Okay, let's get into it then. Starting with the plot, the review suggests it just goes off the rails almost immediately. Like the speed itself is a problem.
Well, yeah. The reviewer's point is that the premise itself isn't the issue. Spaceship crashes,
Yeah.
monsters get loose. Okay.
Standard stuff for the genre.
Right. But the pacing is where it apparently collapses. The reviewer really emphasizes how the classic Alien films built tension, atmosphere, that slow burn dread.
Isolation, paranoia.
Exactly. This film, according to the review, just chucks all that out the window. No time for mood.
So how does it kick off then, according to this critique?
Okay, so you've got a Predator ship. It crashes near a small town. Why? Because the aliens they had on board, presumably for study or sport or something, they got loose.
Chaos on board leads to chaos on Earth. Got it.
And things escalate instantly. There's a surviving Predator. Tries to do the whole self-destruct, contain the problem thing. Standard procedure.
But fails.
Fails. And the immediate result, an alien bursts out of his chest.
Yeah.
So now you've got the Predalien. Threat level jumped way up, almost before the movies even started properly.
Wow, okay. No slow burn there. What about the poor townsfolk?
Pulled in immediately. A local hunter and this kid see the crash, go check it out.
Bad idea.
Terrible idea. Before you know it, face-huggers are involved, and they're missing. That's 3 huge plot points crammed into the opening minutes?
It feels like they're just ticking boxes at warp speed.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And the authorities. Already involved. Local sheriff's putting together a search party. But the government, they're already aware. The reviewer calls their planned response all too typical, implying, some kind of military cleanup.
Nuke it from orbit.
Something like that, probably. But what really pushes the action is the distress signal from the crashed ship. It reaches the Predator homeworld, or wherever they hang out.
Ah, the cavalry arrives.
One Predator cavalry member, yeah.
Yeah.
A lone wolf, basically, sent to clean up the mess. So you've got aliens, a Predalien, clueless townsfolk, maybe the military, and now a cleaner Predator all converging.
It sounds busy, but the review's main issue here is the speed, right? The lack of tension.
Exactly that. The reviewer makes this fantastic point about the contrast. Think about Alien. The first chest burster. That's like an hour in, isn't it? After all that buildup, the claustrophobia.
It's earned. And Predator spent ages just building the myth of the creature before you really saw it clearly.
Right. And this film, the review, gives this absolutely killer detail, just perfectly sums it up. Quote, in the first 5 minutes, you get 3 chest bursts and 2 face hugs.
Wait, 3 chest bursts in 5 minutes?
That's what the review claims.
That's not suspense. That's just throwing everything at the screen hoping something sticks. Shock value over actual fear.
It completely undermines the stakes, doesn't it? The originals made you dread those moments because they were significant, horrific payoffs.
If you just machine gun them out, they lose all impact. The characters become disposable. The threat feels cheaper?
Yeah, the argument is they went for immediate, easy jolts instead of building any kind of lasting dread or investment.
Okay, so if the pacing's broken right from the start,
Yeah.
let's talk about the writing itself. This is where the review gets really harsh, calling the story nonsense.
Yeah, nonsense and unoriginal were the key terms used. The reviewer basically accuses the filmmakers of laziness.
How so?
The argument is they didn't even try to come up with an original story structure. It reads like they just watched a couple of generic slasher movies.
Like Friday the 13th or something?
Something like that, yeah. And they just swapped out the guy in the hockey mask for Predator, threw in some aliens for good measure, but critically, they kept the crappy dialogue and the predictable beats.
Oh, wow. So taking these really complex, iconic sci-fi horror properties.
And reducing them to a formulaic body count movie. That's the core accusation.
Yeah.
And predictability is a huge part of that.
The review says it follows a very familiar path.
Extremely familiar. Every plot point signposted well in advance. If you've seen enough horror films, the review suggests you know exactly what's coming.
You can guess who dies next.
Apparently, yes. Quote, even work out the order of the killing and who will survive. You can spot the final girl or final guy, the expendable comic relief, the noble sacrifice.
When a sci-fi movie with potentially deep lore becomes that predictable, that's a major problem. It just stops being engaging.
It becomes an exercise in just waiting for the inevitable, rather than experiencing a story.
Okay, but if the script is that weak, what about the actors? Did the review blame them at all?
You know, interestingly, no. It actually goes out of its way to defend them. Yeah, the reviewer mentions being duly impressed by their work in other films. The explicit point made is that the actors were fine. It was the quality of the material that let them down completely.
So they had nothing to work with.
Pretty much. Bad material, predictable plot, leads to flat performances, no matter how talented the cast might be.
That makes sense. Trapped in a weak script.
Exactly. And the review points out that all the relationships felt totally one-dimensional.
Which means you don't really care who lives or dies.
Precisely. If the writing doesn't make you invest in the characters, give them some depth, some connection you believe in, then their deaths are just plot points. No emotional impact, whether it's a face-hugger or plasma caster, it just doesn't land.
So, weak script, predictable plot, one-dimensional characters. You have to look at who's steering the ship then. The directors, the review mentions them, the brothers Strauss.
It does, and it expresses genuine surprise, almost confusion.
Why confusion?
Because these guys weren't rookies. Not exactly. They had this really strong background in visual effects, like top-tier stuff.
Oh, right. They work on some huge movies.
Huge movies. The review mentions them working with people like James Cameron, J.J. Abrams. I mean, these are filmmakers known for scale, for technical prowess, often for pretty good storytelling, too.
You'd think working alongside directors like that, some of that would rub off. Especially handling effects-heavy creatures like aliens and predators.
That's the irony the reviewer points out. Their VFX background meant, yeah, the monsters probably looked okay. The effects were competent.
Technically proficient.
Right. But that technical skill apparently didn't translate into understanding pacing, tension, or how to tell a compelling story. They could make the monsters look good, but not make them scary.
So the critique suggests they didn't learn much about storytelling from their big-name mentors.
It seems that way, according to this review. It's like they approached it as just a series of cool visual effects sequences strung together, rather than a cohesive film with characters and suspense.
A feature-length effects reel, almost.
Yeah.
And the review suggests this approach fundamentally failed.
Undeniably, in the reviewer's opinion. But here's where it gets interesting. Connecting this failure to the bigger franchise picture. Despite tearing the film down, the review finds a sliver of hope.
A silver lining.
Sort of. The argument is that AVPR represented the absolute nadir, the lowest possible point for the combined Alien and Predator franchises. It couldn't really get worse.
Okay. How is that hopeful?
Because, the review suggests, hitting that absolute bottom forced a change. The only positive thing to come out of this film, according to McArthur, was that, quote, a rethink seemed to have resulted.
Failure forced them back to the drawing board.
Exactly. It was maybe the wake-up call the franchises needed, failure as a catalyst for, hopefully, improvement.
And is there evidence of that? Did things get better afterwards?
Well, the review certainly thinks so. It points directly to the next two films in the related universes, Predators and Prometheus.
Ah, okay. How were they seen as improvements?
We'll take Predators. Produced by Robert Rodriguez, directed by Nimrod Antal, that film, the review argues, went back to the roots of the original Predator.
How so?
It focused on tension, tactics, A group of skilled people hunted in a hostile environment? Okay, a game-preserved planet. But still, it made the predators smart hunters again, not just generic movie monsters. It brought back that sense of strategy and suspense.
It wasn't just a slasher film with predators.
Right. And then Prometheus, Ridley Scott returning. That film tackled the other big failing of AVPR, according to the review, the weak writing and lack of ideas.
AVPR was called nonsense, right?
Exactly. Prometheus, whatever else you might say about it, was ambitious. It tried to bring back the big philosophical sci-fi questions, the cosmic horror that defined the original Alien. It wasn't just about body counts. It was about origins, creators, grand themes.
So a return to tactical tension in Predators and a return to high-concept sci-fi horror in Prometheus.
And the reviewer sees both as much stronger and worthy of association with the original material. The implication is clear. The failure of AVPR shocked the system and led to these course corrections.
So, wrapping this up then, this deep dive into McArthur's review really hammers home that, for this critic at least, AVPR wasn't just a bad crossover. It failed on a fundamental level as a horror film, as an action film.
Yeah, sacrificing tension for cheap, instant shocks. Remember, 3 chest bursts in 5 minutes.
Unbelievable. And relying on those tired, predictable slasher movie formulas, wasting the actors, wasting the director's technical skills.
And the review's verdict was brutal. Not really worthy of being branded with the Alien name. Strong words.
Very strong.
But here's the final thought, the thing to maybe mull over. If this review is right, if this one truly terrible film, this nadir, actually caused that rethink.
Leading to better films like Predators and Prometheus.
Exactly. Was the absolute failure of Aliens vs. Predator Requiem actually necessary? Was it, in a weird way, essential?
We hope this shortcut helps you understand this, well, fascinatingly bad chapter in the saga of these iconic movie monsters, and maybe appreciate how even failure can end up shaping the future.